Hi guys, I'm making this video mainly for people who have spinal cord injuries or other issues, especially with their legs, and maybe used to sew and feel like they can't sew anymore. I actually discovered just a few years after 2003 when I had my spinal cord injury that I actually could sew, and it was a necessary thing then because we had 4 kids and I sewed a lot of their clothes. In 2015 I had another spinal surgery, and it did some more damage to my shoulders and arms, a little bit more weakness, and so I kind of took a little sabbatical from sewing until COVID, and then I started thinking, I wonder if I could make some masks. So we got the machines out, and lo and behold, I can still do it. So I thought I'd make this quick video just to show people how I do it. It's definitely a doable thing, and I'm sure others have figured this out. I kind of abandoned pins because my dexterity isn't the greatest, and so when I'm holding something together, I like to use these little clips. I get these on Amazon, and I use a serger and a sewing machine, and what I basically do is, instead of operating it with my feet, I just operate it with my elbow or my hand, depending on the pedal. I have one that's a little bit easier than the other, so I'll just show you quick how I serge using my arm. I just get it in there like you normally would, and for my serger it's easier to use my hand, and the feed on it works well enough that that I can just guide it through with one hand. I also like clippers. These are just some Ginger clippers. They're a little bit easier for me to handle than scissors. I generally have other people cut out the fabric because that's a difficult thing for me to do. And you can see I have my shawl on today because it's a really windy day in Minnesota, and so it's a little chilly. So then I'm kind of OCD about it. I serge because I like the nice edge, but especially with the masks that I'm handing out, I want them to be nice and strong. So I go back and I go ahead and just do another stitch with the machine. So again, it's a lot about getting positioned. This particular pedal on my, they're both brother machines. This particular pedal is a little bit more difficult to push down, so I don't push down with my hand. I use my elbow on that. So, and then that frees up both hands to actually be able to guide the fabric through. One of the hardest things for me to learn when I started sewing with my arm was to be able to operate with the pedal, hold the thread, and start the process. But with some practice, it comes pretty easy. And you can see I'm just using my forearm here to push down on the pedal and then guide it through. One thing I do like about this brother machine is, and both of these machines are pretty old, but I like the fact that the reverse is just a button, so I don't have to hold the reverse down and do the pedal at the same time. So that's kind of something to think about when you're sewing. I also like the fact that it's got the self cutter, so I don't have to clip. So so that's it, and I've made probably 100 masks already, and my next project, once I'm done making masks, I used to quilt, and quilting is really difficult from a chair when you do it the normal way, because you obviously can't lay it all out. So the last quilt I made for one of my grandchildren, my husband had to lay it all out and put the batting in, but I plan to start a quilt project, and I'm just going to do a quilt in place type method. So once I'm done doing masks, that's what I'll do. But I hope that this gives those who like to sew, a little glimpse into the fact that even if your legs don't work and can't operate the pedals, you can still sew, because if you've got enough strength in your hand or your elbow, you can operate the pedals that way. So have a great day, everybody.